Children, have you seen any historical monuments? Can you name some of them?
Taj Mahal in Agra, Ajanta Caves at Aurangabad, Sun Temple at Konark, etc.
That's awesome. So, today, we will learn more about India's material heritage. From Class 5, Social Studies. Let us have a look at the famous Indian monuments. Many of us have seen or heard of these monuments. These, and many other monuments are all parts of India's material heritage. Look at the table, that will show you the different types of material heritage. India's history goes back thousands of years. From the earliest centuries, only those things have survived which were made of materials that do not perish like stone, brick, or metal. Things from the earliest centuries that were made of perishable materials, like wood or fabrics, have not survived. For example, early buildings made of wood have not survived. The earliest examples of material heritage are the cities of the Harappan civilization and the various artifacts found there. They tell us about the high level of skills that existed at that time. The next examples of material heritage are from the 3rd century BCE, like the stone pillars of Ashoka. The heritage of material objects grows for the next several centuries, but it is only of non-perishable materials. As we get nearer to the 21st century, there's also a heritage of perishable materials like painting on paper or beautiful fabrics. Architecture. The stupa at Sanchi. Gautam Buddha, who lived about 26 centuries ago, taught new religious ideas. His followers are called Buddhists. A stupa is a monument that is holy for the Buddhists. The stupa at Sanchi, in Madhya Pradesh, is over 2000 years old. It is a large hemisphere surrounded by a fence, which has 4 gateways, called Toranas, facing the 4 main directions. These are heavily carved with beautiful sculptures showing scenes from the life of Buddha, trees, and animals. The Sun Temple at Konark. Konark in Orissa has the temple of the sun god, Surya. It is over 7 centuries old, and was designed to resemble Surya's chariot, in which he believed to travel across the sky. It had several huge wheels and 7 stone horses. The horses can no longer be seen. The walls and pillars of the temple and the 2 assembly halls have sculptures that show gods, dancers, musicians, and animals. The Taj Mahal at Agra. The Taj Mahal, in Uttar Pradesh, is one of India's most famous monuments. It is a huge building made of white marble. It was built by Shah Jahan, in memory of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal, and is more than 400 years old. It is beautifully decorated. Many decorations, flowers and various designs are made of about 50 different kinds of colored precious stones. Other decorations are carved into the marble, such as beautiful flowers. The Taj Mahal is surrounded by gardens that have canals of water running through them. The Meenakshi Temple at Madurai. This famous temple in Tamil Nadu is surrounded by open spaces and many assembly halls which have hundreds of beautiful pillars. It was expanded to its present huge size about 300 years ago. The rectangular boundary wall has 4 enormous gateways, called gopurams, which face the 4 directions. There are over 1,000 painted sculptures on each gopuram, which show gods, goddesses, monsters, animals, and so on. There are smaller gopurams within the temple complex. Sculpture. The Pillars of Ashok. One of India's best-known rulers, Ashok, had very tall pillars put up in many parts of his kingdom. They were made of a single piece of stone. The top part, called the capital, had sculptures of animals. The pillars have inscriptions in ancient Indian writing, called the Brahmi script. One pillar, found at Sarnath near Varanasi, had 4 lions facing the 4 directions. This is now India's national emblem. Other stone sculptures. India has a rich heritage of stone sculptures, such as statues of gods and goddesses, or of Buddha. Buddhism was a popular religion in India for several centuries. A large number of beautiful statues of Buddha has been found from different centuries when Buddhism was popular. Cholar bronzes. Chola dynasty ruled from Tanjavur, in Tamil Nadu, over 11 centuries ago. During this period, beautiful bronze sculptures were produced in these regions, which are considered amongst the best in the world. Most were of gods, but some were of kings as well. Paintings. The cave paintings at Ajanta. These famous paintings were done over several centuries, starting from about 22 centuries ago. Artists used metal mirrors to reflect the outside light, so that they could work in the dim caves. Many paintings show scenes from Buddha's life, or from Buddhist stories. They give us an idea about the life of the people of those times. Other paintings. We also have a heritage of paintings from different parts of the country on materials like palm leaves or paper. These paintings have religious themes, royal scenes, people, animal, etc. Many of them are fairly small, so are called miniature paintings. Books. Early Indian books, called manuscripts, were handwritten on perishable materials like cloth, palm leaves, or the bark of birch trees. The palm leaves or bark were made into long strips. Many such scripts together formed a manuscript. This was protected between decorated wooden covers and then tied with strings. Very early manuscripts does not exist. Original books, which were beginning to get damaged, were copied, and then the old manuscripts were probably discarded. Paper came in India in the 11th century, and gradually books began to be written on paper. Objects of daily use. Many objects of daily use like beautiful fabrics, saris, shawls, bed covers, musical instruments, and utensils are preserved in several museums. These are mostly from about the 17th to 18th centuries onwards. Patronage. Wealthy people who pay for buildings, monuments, sculptures, paintings, or books are called patrons. In earlier times, the patrons were kings, rich traders or merchants, and rich monasteries, where Buddhist holy people lived. Much of our heritage has come to us because of their patronage. This patronage helped creative people like artists, architects, builders, sculptors, and writers to earn living. The works were made according to the wishes of patrons, who were paying for them. Our heritage tells us what kind of skills and arts existed at a particular time. It also tells us who had the wealth and power at that time. For example, we usually say that Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal. However, he only paid for it. It was built by the skill and knowledge of creative people like architects, masons, builders, and other craft peoples. The Taj Mahal tells us about the skill people had when it was built. Looking after our heritage. India has a long tradition of producing beautiful things. Unfortunately, it does not have a tradition of looking after them. In some places, visitors and tourists scribble on the walls of monuments or throw litter. Stones from monuments are taken away for construction work. There are even some monuments that has people living in them, and their day-to-day life damages these structures. We need to take care of the heritage that belongs to everyone. Various organizations work to look after this heritage. A government organization called the Archaeological Survey of India, several museums, and some non-government organizations all look after it. But all of us also need to do so.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel, and do not forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated. Your comments and suggestions are valuable to us.